Hey Hodge Hill, hope you're all well and safe. Today we're going to be looking at 2D shapes. So the learning objective is to identify different types of 2D shapes and to use the correct terminology, or we can say buzzwords, to describe them. Real life scenarios, well, everywhere you look you'll always see a shape. So whether it's on your desk or your door or your walls, anywhere you look, you'll always see different types of shapes. Some of the keywords we're going to be looking at today are sides, vertices, angles, parallel and perpendicular. Now the last two words you should really know from the last lesson. The big question we're going to be doing at the end, hopefully all of us can do it, is on the right hand side. Right, so in the first slide we're going to be looking at four-sided shapes. What do I mean by side? That is one side. That's another side, that's a third side, and that's a fourth. Like so, that is one side, that's the second, third, and fourth. Any line on the shape will be defined as a side. So now the first shape that we have is called a square. So now majority of us will already know this, that a square will have four equal sides, which means this side is the same length as this side, which is the same length as this side, which is the same length as that side. So we've got four equal sides in a square, and we've got four vertices. Now vertices is basically a posh way of saying a corner. So we can see on a square we have one corner, two corners, three corners, four. But we need to use the term vertices. This will come up again and again. So, four equal sides in a square, four vertices. The second shape we're going to be looking at is a rectangle. So as we've already counted the sides, 1, 2, 3 and 4, we've got four sides, and just like a square, we have four vertices. Now the main difference between a rectangle and a square is the square's sides are all the same, whereas the rectangle, you'll have two longer sides and these sides are going to be shorter. So for a rectangle, all the sides are not going to be the same. The bottom shape is called a parallelogram. It's a four-sided shape, just like a rectangle, and it's got four vertices, but as you can see it's slightly been slanted over. You will need to know all of these shapes. So now on this slide we have a circle. So now we can see that a circle doesn't have any corners, so immediately we can figure out that there are no vertices. It has one continuous side that runs along the whole way. The second shape we have is called a pentagon. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertices. And lastly, the shape we're going to be looking at is called a hexagon. Now this has 6 sides. You will need to know all of these shapes. The next thing we're going to be looking at are types of triangles. So the first one we can see is a right angle triangle. So remember from the last lesson we learned that if perpendicular lines meet each other, it creates a right angle. So we know these two lines are perpendicular, and that forms a right angle triangle. The next triangle we have is called isosceles. There are two sides which are equal, and to represent this we do a little dash on these two lines to say that they're both equal in length. So if this side was, let's just say 4 centimeters, this side will also be 4 centimeters. And because these two sides are equal, these two base angles will also be equal. The next triangle we're going to be looking at is called an equilateral triangle. All sides are equal, so like the previous triangle, we have these little dashes to indicate that all of the lengths are the same. And because all of the lengths are the same, all of the angles will also be the same. And finally, we have a scalene triangle. As you can tell, none of the lengths are the same. So none of the angles will be the same. And you can see there are no right angles. Right class, so that's the end of the lesson. I'm going to need you to do this independent task at home. So what I want you to do is first draw out the shapes on a piece of paper, and next to the shape, if you can write the correct name. So you have the choices at the bottom, so just draw out the shape, write the correct name next to it, and if you can take a picture of this and send it on class charts, please. Thank you for your time.